What you're seeing in the background right now is the latest gameplay demo for Skywind, the up-and-coming Morrowind Remaster that's a fan project by modders. And as you can tell, it looks pretty phenomenal. It looks almost official. But before we fully dive into this 11 plus minutes of awesome content, I actually do want to have a moment for clarification. Some of you might be like, wait, didn't we just get a trailer for this? No, not exactly. So what we're looking at today is a project by the TESRenewal team, specifically the team working on Skywind. TESRenewal has two separate projects, one remaking Morrowind, that's what we're seeing here with Skywind, and a separate one remaking Oblivion. That's what we saw a few days ago. I made a full video on it that is known as Skyblivion. On occasion, there is some crossover between the two, as many of the assets are similar or identical. And separate from all of this, you've probably heard of Beyond Skyrim also, or Beyond Skyrim Morrowind in particular. That mod's different as it's actually taking place at the same time as Skyrim. It'll take you back to the locations of Morrowind, but feature a totally separate story, while Skywind is actually going to be replaying that same story you played in the original game. If you want to know more about all of this, or even some of the other overhaul mods on the way, I made a full video on that too a couple of months ago now. But taking a closer look at this trailer, it truly does look awesome. As I mentioned before, this is a remake or recreation mod of Morrowind, taking much or almost all of what you experienced with that original game and recreating it for Skyrim Special Edition's engine, giving you new features, better stability, but also one of the things that is the most obvious is actually just the visual upgrade that is very apparent. And to be totally clear around this, because another point of confusion I see is on price, this is totally free. Technically, in order to actually play the mod once it comes out, you'll need Morrowind and its DLC, and also Skyrim Special Edition, but otherwise there's no charge associated with it. It'll be a free download only on PC though, due to console restrictions. And as you can tell by this gameplay in the background, this is immensely well done, especially this intro sequence as you're walking through Balmora. Maybe it's just me, but I could literally envision Todd Howard speaking over this at E3 or something as the official gameplay reveal of the new Elder Scrolls game, or simply a Morrowind remaster. It looks awesome visually, but even some of the other finer details, like some of the HUD elements, some of the font changes, and the music really just brings this all together. This shows off many of the things that made the original game iconic and memorable, especially when you come from Skyrim. They show off the wide variety of dialogue choices and options, as we saw in Morrowind originally, but even other things like spear gameplay that looks phenomenal. We see this in the third person, which definitely looks cool, but also in the first person, which looks even more special, featuring of course custom animations, but also custom mechanics just to get this working. We also see of course the re-implementation of the polearm skill. I would say overall, one of the things that really stood out to me more so than anything else with this gameplay was the environments. It really reminds you of how unique some of these landscapes were, and of course how distinctive it is from Skyrim. Watching this in real time, you could see it in culmination with some of the music, which really just brings everything together. But then of course some of the combat that does occur here, taking some of the major towns in the daytime or at the nighttime, which especially at night, I feel like the lighting overhauls we have with this newer engine really start to shine and get showcased. But seeing a before and after in some of these areas, you could just tell how much higher quality this is, how much work has gone into actually making this look so much better. The gameplay overall is basically just doing one quest, getting the quest, actually claiming the bounty, and then returning the quest in the end, but it is a very good showcase. I like true gameplays like this, although the trailers are pretty fun to look at. Skywind has its own trailer that I'll have linked in the description if you want to see it. I feel like with these gameplays, it really showcases how much work has actually been done, because you could see just about everything. Even though it is still just a small snippet of this mod and the overall game, it shows you how many working parts are active just at the same time. All those dialogue options, the choices, the weapons, the other NPCs, and the towns feeling lively. Or even simple things like the fact that this quest actually works when you go to turn it in. One of the other notable aspects of this is you could actually see some of the new features coming with this mod. One of the very notable things is the compass at the top of the screen, this being quite distinctive from what you saw originally in this game. Many people love how in Morrowind there was very little hand holding when it came from going from point A to point B. In Skyrim, Skywind, there's going to be a little bit of a different system. You get some of those luxuries or easiness from Skyrim or some of the other newer Elder Scrolls games, but it's more of a hybrid. Initially, we don't actually see a quest marker, although you can see some later on, but it's basically described how most of this is optional. If you want a true to form or identical to Morrowind experience, you can get that here. You can disable some of these extra handicaps and just get that hardcore experience you had originally. But since part of the goal of this mod is also introducing this game to a newer audience, they are there for those who want them. Speaking of which, there are several other things that are of course iconic from this game, but not quite shown off in this trailer. In the description of the gameplay, they describe things like levitation, cliff racers, and new dungeon types, although being implemented aren't quite at the level of polish that they want to show it off publicly in a gameplay demo like this one. But that you guys should keep your eyes out, because there's going to be more gameplay like this coming in the future, as well as some of those other unique systems being shown off. But it's not just navigational systems or fast travel that's getting added in. There are also plans to implement the smithing and crafting systems from Skyrim that, although not really present in Morrowind, should hopefully be added in with this mod. Several of these will probably just act as upgrades, improvements over the original variant, and although some super elitists may not love them, you also can just not use them and play pretty traditionally. So all in all, this new gameplay looks absolutely amazing. There's a lot to see, a lot to look at, and even, especially with this music, a lot to hear. But if you are looking for more, I'll have links in the description as to where you could check out some other things. Skywind has its own website, Discord, and a lot of other social media channels. There's a lot of other content out there, whether it be trailers, images of what they've been working on. So I'll have links to all of that down below, including this original gameplay if you want to see it in its original form. As always, again, I thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. But with that, I hope to see you guys all next time. Later.